Hello everyone, welcome back. So here we are. We are back with the Zodiac series doing looks inspired by the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette and by the astrological signs. And we are on the fourth sign, which is Cancer the crab. Yes, it is our first water sign of the Zodiac. And the water signs are kind of the healers, kind of the emotional sounding board of the Zodiac. While fire is very driven and first and flashy and go-getters, earth are very dependable. They're about routine and making sure that things get done. It's like the fire signs like to start things, and the earth signs are like, yeah, but who's going to make sure it gets finished? Let's get this done. They're practical, while the fire signs are a little bit more and the dreamers and, the good time guys, we need people to keep us a little bit in line, so that's where the earth signs come in. And so then you have the air signs, and they're a little bit more intellectual. They're a little bit more about free flowing thoughts and looking at society, and we all need grounding like the earth signs, but we also need the air signs to kind of bring forth new creative ideas and let them oscillate like wind and get them moving to the masses. They're about information and taking the information and giving it to others. And then our beautiful water signs, which are like information and structure and all these things are really great, along with, like the fire signs moving forward and being pioneers. That's really great. But in the end, you also need emotion. That's just, all those things are beautiful, but you need a connection with other people to bring all those other elements together. So all the elements go hand in hand together. So Cancer, the crab, is ruled by the moon. That's its ruling planet. Every single one of the signs has a ruling planet, and Cancer's is the beautiful moon. It's gentle, it's serene, it lights up the sky, it rules the night. It's just beautiful and serene. And Cancer in many ways is like that as well. And so their their colors that most represent them would be silver and white. Now, with this, there is some white and there is some silver, but I feel like because Cancer is also a water sign, there's also the idea of water being blue. And so what is special but a blue crab? So it's going to have silver and little hints of blue to it, because everybody knows what crabs look like, but then every once in a while you see in the news, and they found this really rare blue crab. Well, that's Cancer. It's this beautiful gem. So we're going to do some hints of blue to it, because I think that'll just, I think it'll add a little bit more than just the silver and white, because I think Cancer is more complex than that. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is actually start with Gemini, I think. Yes, Gemini. So I'm going to kind of dash together Gemini and a little bit of Virgo. I think Virgo gets so much love just because it has such a great transition color, and it should get more love. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put that here in the crease just to add a little bit of color. It's nice because we haven't really used the purples a lot. So it's just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension and just a pop of color. So Cancer, Cancer seems really simple. And when people talk about the sign, it's like, okay, they're emotional, they're the water sign. But the thing is, and that's why I'm going for more colors with this, is that actually Cancer is a lot more complex than they appear. People just assume, oh, they're emotional, all that. They're just obvious, and they're not. I've known a few, actually some very close people to me are the sign of Cancer, and they are some of the most complex people I know. And I just feel like in a lot of ways, personally, you don't really know them until you really get to know them as people, in that they're not the type that are just going to let you in. That's something that is earned. And so expect that. Expect that from Cancer. You may never really know them for years, and in some cases, even when you think you know them, you don't. It's not like Gemini, where they just kind of have this dual personality. I'm going in with the general white here just to spread this out a little bit. Gemini has a duality, while Cancer is just very protective. It has this very soft underbelly the crab does, and so it protects that. You know, it protects that and doesn't let people see it for fear of being hurt, you know? And that's kind of how Cancer the crab is. They're very protective of their feelings. It's just the way that it is. So, yes, some people may look at it as, you know, they're not just these emotional beings. They really are quite more than that. They're very protective. So think about it. The crab is soft underbelly, but a really tough shell. And that's to protect themselves. And the people do that as well. They're very protective of their hearts because they're very much the type of people who, you know, when they love hard. And so to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of, they will be, you know, very cautious. But on the other hand, even when they're being cautious, they're the type who still get hurt because they are the most sensitive sign of the zodiac. So now what I'm going to do, now that I added a little pop of that color, I am going to go in with Gemini. Now Gemini and Cancer, you know, they wouldn't really, I'm going to be honest with you, they wouldn't really, it would be a difficult one. And the reason is because Gemini is ever changing and constantly oscillating like the wind, the air that it is. And it'll just run with ideas really quickly, and you know, it changes. It's always changing. And Cancer is not like that, you know. Cancer is very much a homebody, while Gemini is very much a let's go have fun and see the world. That's not Cancer. It doesn't mean that Cancer won't travel and see the world, but even when Cancer does travel, it's always happy to be home because Cancer creates this beautiful home. And so it wants to come back to that home as a sounding board. It's where it recharges itself. Think about it. Cancer, the crab, carries its home on its back. So it's always with its home, and that's where it feels protected and safe, and it's its own. And that, too, is how Cancerians work. So now what I'm going to do, even though it's a little bit silver, I want to add just a little touch of blue to this mixture with this Gemini, so a little bit of Cancer. Look, using its own color. And just dabbing that in there as well. I definitely want it to be silver, but I want a little bit of blue. Oops. It's a little bit more than I wanted. That's okay. We'll just go back in with Gemini and fix that a little bit. But yeah, so they carry their home with them. So they're always attached to home. These are people who family means everything to them. Let me tell you. Family means absolutely everything to this sign. So yeah, I mean, not more so than some. Taurus is also like that. But Cancer really, really loves home. And these are big family people. And if you know anyone in your family, and I'm going in with a little bit more of Gemini, and let's try a little bit of Cancer. I'm actually using Cancer's colors here in this palette. So there's a few people, and a lot of the signs love, you know, home and family in different ways. But with Cancer and Taurus, it's all about creating hearth and home and a sounding place to go to that keeps them protected. So actually Taurus and Cancer would do really well together in a relationship. Even if it's not romantic, just in general, they would do really well just because they both kind of value the same things. So I'm going to go in with Virgo and put this above. So I just want to spread this out a little bit. So, you know, they would both get along with each other quite well because of that. They would, because they're both really into the home and family. And like I said, all the signs are, they just do it differently. You know, the fire signs are going to be a little bit more bold with it, while, you know, with Cancer, it's going to be more emotional. Now, here's the thing that I want to point out about Cancer. And I'm going to do that while I blend this out a little bit. I always like to use my fingers just because you can feel the touch and it's a lot more gentle, and you want to be gentle with your eyes. So with Cancer, a lot of people will look at the emotional aspect and get, you know, they'll cling to that. And the thing is that these are some of the most resilient people. It doesn't seem like it, but I want to point out that much like with anything, it's like sometimes people will think, oh, well, emotion is weakness. And I actually don't believe that. Those who can show emotion are actually a lot of the time a lot more healthy, but it also shows strength because you're okay to appear vulnerable. And there's a beauty within that. And a lot of people will say that that's weakness and then rip on poor Cancer for that because they are very emotional. But you'd be wrong because they're actually some of the most resilient people on the planet. Now I'm going back in with Gemini again. I went a little bit too, here. I'm going to go in with the center one because it's a little bit more blue than I wanted. There we go. So this is kind of evening. I just wanted a hint of blue in there, and there will be more. So, you know, there's a resiliency about these people. You know, they've seen a lot and they feel a lot, but they're also extremely resilient. You have to be, and they are. So we're going to go in with Cancer. It's a beautiful color. Yay. I'm actually using it. The other ones I don't use their colors. I'm like, what? They don't match. And not that these are perfect for Cancer, but they do kind of work for the look I'm going for. And I am going to go under the eye. So these people are extremely resilient. That being said, another attribute that people look at with Cancer is their moodiness. And I'm just going to say it, guys. You're a little bit moody, but that's not a bad thing. It just is, you know, so is Gemini. But Gemini does it in a completely different way. You know, it's the duality personality again. While with Cancer, they're represented by the moon. And the moon goes through waves. You know, the tides change because there's different pools from the moon. And so that's where this moodiness comes from, is from, it's you know, from the moon. And they're just naturally like that. They're very sensitive. And here's the thing about Cancer, is they're actually, the water signs in general tend to have this attachment to the universe that the other signs may lose sometimes because they're still grounded in the universe. And so a lot of these people will be, they'll have more of a sixth sense sometimes. You'll see that with these people. So they're very emotional, but they can also just have this intuition that other signs may not have. And it's been said that the water signs tend to be the most like psychic. Yeah. Or have that tie to, they just have that tie to what's going on. They go off their gut feeling. They, you know, they have that more than other people because they are attached to their emotions, especially Cancer, because they are the most emotional of the zodiac. And so they're attached to what goes on around them. They'll pick up the stimulus around them and feel from that more than other people. So they're very empathetic, almost sometimes to a fault, because they'll absorb it themselves, and that can hurt, you know. So you got to be careful, Cancer. Make sure you're looking after yourself and not everybody else. Okay, so we're going to continue with this blue theme a little bit with Cancer's color here, and we're going to put this in the corner V a little bit. All right, there, just to add a little bit of dimension. You know, we don't want to take it too over the top. We want this to be very wearable, very pretty. You know, Cancer's, you know, not, it's the gentle moon. The moon represents mother and emotion. And in astrology, the moon actually rules yourself. So it rules your emotions, but for men, it actually represents the women that you would be attracted to, because it represents, you know, the females in your life, like your mother, but also the woman that you'd be more in depth to marry. While in women, that would be Mars, the god of war. So you can't go off moon signs with women as much as far as relationships unless you're a man, but the moon does represent yourself. So you want to check that. Check a chart online and see what your moon sign is, because it's actually more important than your sun sign, because it represents your emotion. It represents yourself. So anything that has to do with self is the moon. So who you are when you're alone with no walls, that is the moon. So it's extremely important to know what your moon sign is. But the moon does represent mother, and that's a reason why, you know, Cancers a lot of time will be very attached to their mothers and their childhood. So I like it. So now what I am going to do, I think, is I am going to go in with this white. Well, look at it like this. It's the center of the universe, which is the sun usually. But we're going to make it the moon for Cancer today. And I just want to put that here in the corner. Just add a lightness there. Just a little bit of lightness. So there we go. This is going on quite nicely. Now this is a gentle look. You know, this isn't going to be something that, you know, wows you like Gemini or Aries or Leo or, you know, any of those signs, or Aquarius, who's going to be more quirky. It's definitely not like this. This is a very gentle look. Okay, so I just went with a very easy eye-lined look, you know, and light mascara because I don't want something too bold for this. You know, it's Cancer. It's gentle. You know, it's the moon. It's not going to be gaudy or over the top. That's not its way. So what we're going to do is take a really light blush here and just add a little bit. We don't want to get too crazy, just enough to add a little bit of color to kind of match that purple pink that is put into the crease. Just a little bit. The lighting's starting to change, so we make do. And we want this to continue to be kind of ethereal. So actually what I want to do is take, I'm just thinking, a little bit of maybe this. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Aurora palette. Maybe just take like a mix of these because I want to keep it in the cool zone, and just put a little bit of dusting here. And I have a vision. What I like is that I go for these visions and I don't even know. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing half the time with these. I just kind of go. It's nice because you're letting your creative juices flow. And that's what I like about doing things like this, is you're just doing what works for you. Just let it flow. It can wash off. It's no big deal. Go with it. So going with that theme, I think I'm going to take a little bit of these guys, and like I said, I want to keep it cool toned, and it's such a great palette for doing things like that, and just really going in there with like this blue whitish purple. Just really get in there, and especially get into the eye area. Now some people don't like wearing this much highlighter, and if you were actually going to wear something like this out, do whatever works for you, but I'm going for it because I really just want to. So I just think it's really pretty, and these colors are very wearable. I think with this palette, when I first saw it, I was like, no way. So now this is coming up a little bit more than I wanted, but that's okay. That's me. Look how hard I'm putting it on there. I mean, that's all my fault. So, and then just put a little bit on the nose as well, just to add a little bit of that whitish blue kind of purple highlight onto the nose. Now I do want to bring this down even more, and I like to use my finger just to let it kind of connect. I don't know why, I'm just kind of feeling it. You know, it's kind of like Cancer follows the curves. You know, it's very feminine. It's a feminine sign. And so we're going to follow the natural curves and kind of bring it all together in this unifying beauty that would represent Cancer. Very pretty. So, you know, very matte look in a lot of ways, but and it's a great way to bring in blue. I think a lot of people hate blue. You can make it work. Just add the silver around the eyes. You're good to go. It's very wearable that way. Alright, so I wiped away what I was wearing. It was like a glitter gloss. And I'm just going to add another one on. This is from Becca. This was from earlier this year. It was some of their glosses. And this one's just a really nice kind of silvery color, because a lot of them will have like a pink or blue shift to them. This one is close to being just a white with gold. So it is a little bit warmer than I want for this look, but I think it's exactly what I want. Purse the lips a little bit, and it should make it a little bit more palatable, especially with the pink undertones going on in my own natural lips. But I think that is okay. I think I am okay with it because I don't have a cool tone one. I do, and it has blue in it, but I think that would just be a little bit too much for what I'm personally going for. So yes, this is the look for the zodiac sign of Cancer. It's very simple. I wanted simple. I wanted something very wearable, something just lovely and kind of delicate. And yes, with blue, you're like delicate, you know, but I think it works with the silver and the like purpley kind of pink. And I'm happy with it. You know, there's going to be signs out there that are a little bit more showy, like I said, like the fire signs, like air. Nope, that's not going to be Cancer. You know, Cancer, they're very much traditionalists. They really love pretty things. They like things to be, they're not into extremes. They're not. But it's interesting because they're kind of a contradiction because they, like I said, they can be kind of moody. And the thing is, they're one of the least likely signs to get angry at people. They just really like to keep it together. They don't like conflict. They don't like to cause waves with people. These are the type of people, to avoid conflict, they'll just kind of just disappear if you tick them off. If they really care about the relationship, they wouldn't do that. But if they really don't have a lot invested, they'll kind of and scurry away to avoid that conflict. Yeah, they're not. Here's the thing, like somebody with the sign of Aries, it's not that they love conflict, though some of them sometimes will kind of nudge people just to see how people react. It's in a childish way. It's not in a mean way. But, Aries doesn't like conflict, but if it comes their way, they're basically going to be the first to go up yours. They're going to fight back. Cancer isn't like that. They'll really avoid it for as long as possible. They hate conflict. They want harmony. But the thing is that if you do tick them off enough and you keep poking the sleeping bear, they are going to wake up and you are not going to like it. They will fight back. They will. They're not called crabby for nothing, they're moody. And so if you keep pushing their same buttons, you don't want to see an angry Cancer because they will be plotting your demise. Here's another thing about Cancer is that they also will, they do tend to hold grudges because they feel so deeply, and they don't trust people that well. Like I said, it takes a while, but they want to believe the best in people, but they also know how people really are. They're not stupid. So if you mess with them, these people will hold grudges till the end of time. They really will. They will hold grudges. And they won't necessarily get over it. And if you hurt them, even if they forgive, they don't necessarily forget, because they always carry their hurt with them in their little shell. So, you got to be gentle with them. But again, I hate saying all this because then people are like, oh, they're just fragile. They're not. They can be. But they're also extremely resilient people. Just because they're emotional, like I said, that's not weakness. Don't take it as weakness, because they're very strong, resilient, hardworking sign. Extremely hardworking. If they want something in life, they'll work to it. They'll work for it. Don't put a timetable on it. Let them do it their own way. These are people who will do it their own way, and if you let them do it, they will. Once they have a goal in sight, that's what they do. They're just really hardworking people. So this is the final look for the zodiac sign of Cancer, the first water baby. Yes. So what I do want to say, and I want to apologize for Gemini because I forgot this, and I absolutely love these. All the signs have a motto, and Gemini, your motto is I think, because you're an air sign, and air signs are the thinkers. And Cancer, before we check out, I wanted to let you know that, of course, I think it's no surprise that your motto is I feel. The feeler, the beautiful feeler of the zodiac. And it's a beautiful trait. Some people rip on Cancer, and I'm like, no, it's such a beautiful thing. Again, emotion is not weakness, my friend. You Aries out there and other fire signs, you know that. You don't have to be strong all the time. It's not weakness, especially you Aries. I'm eyeing you. So next, we'll be moving on to the second fire sign. Yes, there are 3 in each of the groupings, and we're on to the second. Leo the lion, but don't tell them they're second because they're not having it. They're not. But Aries is always the pioneer, but Leo's like, yeah, okay, but I'm the star, because Leo is the showman of the zodiac. So of course we're not going to have anything docile. So, while Aries is the pioneer, Taurus is about practicality and getting things done and enjoying the beautiful surroundings around itself. And Gemini is about taking information from the zodiac, or not the zodiac, but from everything and the zodiac. They'll take information from anything. They absorb it. They're the thinkers. To the feelers, who are like, oh, you could do all those other things, but you need to feel. That's the most important thing in life, too. Leo, who's like, that's all very great and well, but guess who showed up today? That's right, everybody sit down because Leo's in the house. That's Leo. So, it's going to be fun. It is not going to be a docile look. No. So, anyway, I hope you liked this one. This has been a fun series so far, and so I will see you with Leo with more fun facts and a bold look. So until next time, have a fabulous day. Bye.